recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to ZedGames.
ZedGames brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at ZedGames AU.
It feels very awkward to laugh by myself like that.
I wasn't sure if you wanted us to join in or not.
I
was terrified. I couldn't say a word.
There we go. You're listening to ZedGames. We're here at 4ZZZ. My name is Zahra, and with me in the studio is...
Hazel.
And...
Tom.
Whoa, Tom. How are you doing today? How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm liking... been eating a lot of pumpkin spice and
yes.
Witnessing a lot of murder on film.
Yeah, that's been going around.
Lots of death and decay, and it's just the season for it. So it's a good time.
It is the season. I think there's something in the water because I just saw like zombies walking down the street, commuting, and I was thinking to myself, gee, even the dead don't get out of rent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How about you, Hazel? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thoroughly spooked. I just got given some candy by the lovely Joe. He just popped over and gave us some
gummy worms, some bright callers. I love gummy
We will
worms.
be enjoying those off air, so you don't have to listen to our eating sounds.
But you can listen to some crinkly ASMR.
I do want to say happy Diwali to all who celebrate.
Woo!
Oh.
It is a very festive time right now.
It is.
Both holidays do share a lot of candles.
They do.
They do be sharing a lot of candles.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Tis the season to be candle.
It is the season to be candle. But while we're thinking about candles and lollies and Diwali, I think we're going to listen to the Week in Gaming News presented by the beautiful Paul.
In this week's terrifying gaming news, Dread XP hosted the Indie Horror Showcase, featuring 60 indie horror games, including a frightening typing game called Blood Typers, a game where you play a peeping Tom called Tom the Post Girl, and a deck-building card game where everything is made out of hands, called Out of Hands. Several hours after the presentation, Moya Horror and Haunted PS1 announced that their yearly Fright Fest Eek 3 would be airing within the week, but spookily, it has been delayed due to technical issues. That didn't stop other horror games being announced though, including a Death Note game with an Among Us social deduction vibe, which is coming out next month and will be released day one on PlayStation Plus. This year's unprecedented disaster, Concord, by developer Firewalk Studios, has been quietly updating itself on Steam ever since it was removed for sale. This led to speculation that the multiplayer character shooter was prepping to try again. These hopes have been smashed, however, as Sony has now officially shuttered the studio. Also in the firing line was Neon Koi, who Sony acquired in 2022 to develop a mobile action title. 210 developers will be affected by the closures. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is dead. Long live Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete! A paid version of the online app will release on December 3rd and allow existing players to transfer their camps, as well as new players to experience the game without microtransactions and other online features. The game will launch at $10 Australian, but will increase its price on the 31st of January to $20. Keeping the spotlight on themselves, Nintendo also launched Nintendo Music, a phone app that allows users of Nintendo Online subscription to listen to soundtracks from their favorite games. The little yellow handheld that could, the Playdate, was originally announced to have a dock which would act as a speaker and a pen holder. After years of waiting, the dock is not coming anytime soon, as Panic have been unable to find an acceptable manufacturer. At this point, the product's future is uncertain. Ever with their finger on the pulse, Ubisoft have released an NFT game! Champions Tactics is a Web 3.0 game that will allow players to purchase champions for real money, the most expensive being $63,000 US. Ubisoft has also confirmed they are in the early stages of a new Rayman game with the series' original creator, Michel Ancel. Upcoming game releases. November 1st, we'll see Clock Tower Rewind for PS5, PS4 and Switch, Dragon Age The Veilguard for PS5, Xbox Series X and S and PC, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered for PS5 and PC, and Shadows of the Damned Hell Remastered for PlayStation platforms, Xbox platforms, Switch and PC. November 6th, we'll see Metal Slug Tactics release for PlayStation platforms, Xbox platforms, Switch and PC, and November 7, we'll see Planet Coaster 2 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, and PC. That's all this week in Spooky Gaming News.
Thank you so much for the week in gaming news, Paul. I am suitably terrified, especially that there's going to be a new Rayman game.
Yeah. And Michel Ancel is going to be on it?
I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah,
Well-
bring back Rayman.
You know what? 2025? Bring back Rayman.
Yeah.
Rayman Origins, great game.
Let's have more
Legends,
Rayman.
great game.
I loved him in, what was that show called?
Oh, the Captain Laserhawk.
Captain Laserhawk.
Captain Laserhawk.
Is that the one where he is depicted snorting illicit substances off
Yes.
people's bodies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great,
Wild.
bizarre, wild, fabulous, fantastic, incredible, wild show. I do recommend watching it because
Rayman's there.
Rayman's there.
And that's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all you really need to know. This wasn't mentioned by Paul, but we have a little bit of like what we heard in sort of like among the community. So Borderlands.
It's okay. It's some people think it's their favorite game.
Some people think it's their favorite game,
Some people feel it's their favorite game.
and you disagree with them?
No, they can say it's their favorite.
Okay.
I like them. I like the
Well,
games.
I always find it like, look, it's easy points, but when there is a terminally ill gamer out there and they really, really, really want to play the next game, I think it's pretty cool when the devs are like, yeah, you can have early access. You can have a version just for you. We've made a little vertical slice. We just threw it together. And I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I
That
think
is nice.
It's not often that you get a nice little feel-good story in the games industry, especially from a AAA developer.
Yeah.
And lately.
Yeah, to reach out to someone, a fan, and be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Someone's passionate about Borderlands. Might as well give them a little Borderlands treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not super common, but you do hear about it. I know Destiny did some similar things with I think that was more about the community. The community all came together to celebrate this player who was just a bit of a column in the community. And I think that's nice. You know what is also nice?
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah,
But
music.
what sort of music, Tom? There's
How
something...
about this show that's coming up at Netherworld next Monday?
Ooh.
It's called The Extra Lives. It's a closed-door performance, so you got to buy a ticket for it. It's an Audience RPG show. So essentially,
Okay.
there's a band on stage. It's playing music and telling a story through the music using visuals from video games from the 90s and 2000s.
Mhm.
And the audience it's being told as a choose-your-own-adventure concert. So
Okay.
as it's being played, the audience will vote on what way they want the concert to go. They'll make character decisions and influence the story. So it's a really kind of unique little production that we haven't seen for a while. They've come all the way from the US as well.
Wow.
It is, it's called Extra Lives. So it'll be on Monday, the 4th of November at 8 p.m. with the doors opening at 7. But I'll be there, and I'll be voting for all of the worst choices.
All the worst
So
choices.
if you want
Of course.
So, listeners, if you want good choices,
Yeah.
you better get there.
Yeah.
You have to be the choice that you want to see in the world.
Otherwise, Tom's going to ruin the whole thing for you.
Yeah.
I played Tales of the Borderlands, and I chose to say nothing at every possible time. That's
You're
nice.
a monster.
So if you want to stop that, you should come along.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Love some good chiptune rock music with Pokemon Stadium and RPGs and stuff like that.
I bet that's a ton of fun for the band as well. Just kind of like, oh, which direction are we going to go now? Fellas, they chose the bad ending. Okay, here we go. The
drummer's like, please stop choosing that one. It's really hard for me to play that bit. It's
but also speaking of events, 21st of November, Thursday, 6 p.m, we are hosting another indie dev night at Lost Souls, which is connected to Netherworld. Now, if you are a gamer, you probably want to be there. It's a ton of fun. We have devs from all over Brisbane coming to show their games. The last one was a ton of fun. The one before that was a ton of fun. It's so much fun that we're now doing this more often, as opposed to yearly, which is so slay. Now, if you are a dev within the Brisbane region and you would like to share your game at the Indie Dev Night, please take a look at our ZedGames socials. There is an expression of interest form that you can check out. That form closes on the 3rd of November, so that's this Sunday. Whether you're a hobbyist or skill levels, please put it forth, because we do want to check it out. And it is a lot of fun, and I don't think you'll find a more welcoming community.
And if you don't make it in this time, there'll always be another.
There will always be another. That's the best part about this.
Next one's going to be really good.
It's going to be so good.
You want to be in that crew.
Yeah. This is going to be... It's going to be fire.
Hell yeah.
Dare I say. Tom, you have a spooky review for us tonight.
Yeah. So, I have been playing the Silent Hill 2 remake. So, spooky, but also kind of depressing.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, it's
in a fun way.
Yeah.
Look, it's enriching, I think. Well, like when we talk about like the history of horror games, there are two series that always lead the discussion. That's Resident Evil and Silent Hill, at least in AAA published games.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil series is like leaning more towards like action, explosions, horror theming, cool set
like
pieces.
You shoot the
You're blowing
monsters
stuff
and
up.
you're
Yeah.
like,
But Silent Hill's focus is on like character stories and theming and like this weird, dark, oppressive miasma that's over this town of Silent Hill. It's always like a surreal sort of feeling. And when both series had like a lull in popularity a few years back, and then Resident Evil came back with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and that was excellent. And then they also followed it up with their remakes of their original games from the earlier in the series. And everyone's like, when's Silent Hill going to do something? And this is them finally doing something. I'm not surprised that they decided to start with remaking Silent Hill 2. Mostly because it's a standalone story within the Silent Hill universe.
Mm-hmm.
I also think remaking Silent Hill 1 would be really, really, really hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a much bigger jump from, PS1 to PS2.
Making the fog work specifically.
Well, there's some good fog in the Silent Hill 2 remake, I'll say that.
You heard it here, folks. Good fog.
Good fog.
Good fog.
But instead of like focusing on like the other Silent Hill games, which go more into like this satanic cult that's lying underneath this town, and corrupting everything around it and everyone who ventures into it, Silent Hill 2 is a surreal nightmare that centers around the character that you play as, James Sunderland. And it touches on many intense subject matters, death, abuse, guilt, loss, and suffering. And it manages to do so with a mature tone, using metaphors and interesting character interactions. And when Konami first announced this remake, they said it was going to be made by Bloober Team. And a lot of people were worried. They were looking at it with a lot of skepticism because Bloober Team had produced some horror games in the past, but their attempts at broaching these sensitive topics were considered to be ham-fisted, clunky, and at times straight up insulting. So during their development of Silent Hill 2, they actually collaborated a lot with some of the original creators of the game as well.
Good. That's good.
And also prominent members within the fan base. So people who were actually super dedicated about, the series and making sure it was going to be a faithful adaptation.
Like, this is what's important to us, the fans. Please make sure you focus on this.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that they managed to do it. But so I'll get into what the game's actually about. So you're playing as James Sunderland, who is a middle-aged man who's ventured into the town of Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his wife Mary telling him that she's waiting for him. Except for the fact, Mary died 3 years ago.
Oh. So
how could she be waiting for him in Silent Hill?
Unless.
James explores this decayed and dilapidated town, only to find monsters, cryptic messages, and a few other wandering souls who are seemingly drawn to the town. As far as gameplay goes, you'll be fighting some excellently designed monsters that reflect James's subconscious. You'll be finding keys, solving some cryptic puzzles created by the town, and you'll be navigating through some fairly mundane locations, such as an abandoned apartment building, a hospital, a prison, or a nightmare labyrinth.
I don't think any of these are mundane.
No, it's just everyday things that you'd find in any sort of town.
Oh, yeah.
Every town has their own nightmare labyrinth.
Right, of course. There's one underneath Netherworld.
Absolutely. That's called our keg room. But anyway, so one thing I think this remake does right is that they've updated the gameplay style. So instead of having a forced perspective view like they had in the original with set cameras and stuff, you're now just playing, it's like a modern 3D adventure game where you are over-the-shoulder camera with your character.
Wow, I don't know how I feel about that.
In a way, it's less cinematic in some aspects, but it plays so much better.
I can imagine it'd be a lot easier to interact with.
Moving from space to space. I know that was a bit clunky.
It's hard to get into the series because of that.
It is. Because
you can tell someone it's one of the best horror games ever made, and they're like, I can't get through this room.
I can't walk down this corridor.
There's a monster attacking me. I can't hit it. And I'm dying over and over, and I don't know where to go, and it's hard.
Every time I walk between two rooms, I can't figure out where my character is anymore.
Yeah, and some people will say, but look, there's that really cool scene where it's like the reflection of the water on the floor is making James look at himself and being introspective, and that's cool. But and sure, that's great. But I would also like to try and play the game and enjoy it.
Controversial.
So there's like a dodge move in this game, so you'll actually be like ducking and weaving past monsters.
Dang.
So there are some encounters that do feel solvable. So like there'll be a monster swinging at you, and I've actually worked out, by the time I finished it, there were some monsters where I was like, I know they're going to swing this way, and I can dodge this way, and I can do that. So it ended up feeling quite rewarding, which I didn't think I would ever say about Silent Hill gameplay.
They do tend to be a game that's sort of like, I don't want to say punish, but it does put a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, and it's meant to feel scary. It's meant to feel threatening. And yeah, absolutely, there's still some enemies in the game where I'm like, oh god, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Run. So that's totally still in the game. But at least you're not going to be frustrated, I think.
Yeah.
Another positive is I really like the cast's performance in the cutscenes. I think they do a really good vocal performance. I think they act really well. It's basically almost entirely the exact same script as the original, just presented more naturally. It still feels kind of dreamlike and otherworldly, but it's not as abrasive as the original. The original feels like is this a joke? Why are they talking like this? People don't talk like this.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, just through the change of performance, it feels like, oh yeah, I can imagine someone who's like a depressed man looking for his dead wife. He would say that. Yeah. Like it's fitting. And they did that without changing a whole lot. So I think it's really remarkable that they've managed to experience those same feelings without changing too much.
Is there anything in particular that you didn't like?
I think there is one or two sections in the game that have puzzles that I thought were a little obtuse. So if you're going to play this game, I think there's a semi-decent chance that you'll be looking something up to solve a puzzle. I do also think that some of the sections run a bit long, and I think, but honestly, if you're willing to just kind of like just chug through, I'm a scraper when I play a survival horror game. I check absolutely every room over and over, so that's partially my own fault. But I think it's, as far as that goes, I'm very satisfied with this game. I think overall, the way I would describe it is it feels like if the original Silent Hill 2 was an avant-garde art house foreign language film, Silent Hill 2 Remake is the Hollywood remake that was surprisingly good and had the director involved as a producer.
Okay.
I love that. That is...
that is a fantastic way to put it, and has almost completely put me off the remake, but
but it's so much. It's
still
worthwhile.
Just interested enough that I think I might pick it up.
But I think if you were someone who was curious about Silent Hill, I think this is a great place to jump in, because you actually will... I don't know, I think it's approachable without sacrificing too many of the themes and too many of the wonderful, weird intricacies that were in the original that made that so special for a lot of people.
I think I'm the target audience. Because I want to...
Let's play it together.
Let's play it together. Because like Silent Hill 2, well, Silent Hill in sort of general, I found it to be quite challenging to get into. Really wanted to get into it, but the gameplay style really put me off, and I did struggle with it. Got too frustrated. Bad time. But this sounds like a version I could play, and perhaps I can appreciate it.
Yeah,
you can play it and appreciate it, and I can sit there whining about how it's not like the original.
Yeah, you get to be a little snooty about it, and go,
I liked that it was weird and obtuse and felt like a foreign art house movie.
Yeah, but what if everyone could enjoy it?
Well, some things aren't for everyone.
Well,
yeah. Also, it's some very intense subject matter that it does take very seriously.
Yeah. So, trigger warnings. Definitely be aware.
100% trigger warnings for this game.
That was stunning. Thank you so much, Tom. We're coming up to the end of a spooky night, and I thought to wrap things up, we might play a little true and false game. True or false game, not true and false.
True and false.
Playing your cards early.
Superposition.
This is where I will tell you a couple stories about video games spookiness, and you tell me whether you think it's true or false, and I tell you whether it was true or false.
I'll believe anything.
That is good. Keep that up. Awesome. So, numbers stations in Fallout 3. Now, number stations are a real thing in real life. They were utilized to convey coded messages to certain individuals, mostly during the Cold War. And with Fallout 3 taking place after a nuclear war and having a radio station with a dedicated announcer known as Three Dog, players discovered that if a few things were completed, such as killing Three Dog, I don't know why you would want to kill Three Dog, the radio station would turn into a number station, listing random numbers in a monotone voice and broadcasting messages in Morse code. Some of those messages include things such as, "Can't believe Britney's actually won an Oscar," and "The Queen died today. The world mourns, as on days like this, we are all Brits." And also, "What are you talking about? You'll be missed. Accident in the Gulf? Oil spill apparently averted. which follows up with a group of numbers that were later discovered to be accurate dates. What do you two think?
Well, I think it's true. It happened.
False.
Sorry, Tom. It is false.
Sorry for having hope.
Look,
You had me up until the accurate dates.
up until the accurate dates. Yeah. No, there weren't any no number stations, I'm afraid. Reports about how to activate the number stations is all over the place. But people are pretty sure that it is supposed to involve killing Three Dog and a bunch of other things that players can't decide on.
So, like, similar to like unlocking Raichu in Smash Bros. Melee, where it's like you just need to beat the game on very hard in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's all.
I feel like
I
there's
did it.
some GTA urban myths that are like that as well.
Yeah, although some of the GTA,
Oh yeah, some of it's real.
some of it is real. All right, second story. Berserk, the killer arcade game. I'm not talking about Polybius. Forget about Polybius. It's not real. It never existed. There is no evidence of it ever existing. Men in Black hanging out in arcades doing like CI tests on sleep-deprived teenagers. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I've seen him in. We had it in last week
Oh,
at Netherworld in the arcade room. We had Polybius in.
am I supposed to mute you now?
I'm gonna get muted IRL.
However, there was an actual arcade game that is directly linked to two real-life deaths. Berserk, spelt with a Z, which features the terrifying evil Otto, an evil smiley face that exists just to stress you out. The first victim, Jeff, was only 19 when he reached an alleged score of 16,660, 666 right in the middle, before having a heart attack. And the second victim was an 18-year-old named Peter, who also had a heart attack after an intense gaming session. What do you two think?
Well,
I'm gonna go true.
Well, from my personal experience of being horribly stressed out by the angry-faced son in Mario 3, I'm gonna say, yeah, that's true.
Actually, sorta true. So Jeff did die after playing Berserk. However, he died in a car accident, like completely unrelated
He was
to.
probably distracted and thinking about Berserk.
Yeah, it was probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's what I would have been thinking
The
about.
gamer's soul.
And I feel like it's also notable that the score 16,660 is not that high in the game, so
Yeah.
he was
Jeff
thinking about it.
R.I.P. Jeff, you were bad at Berserk and punished.
However, Peter did have a heart attack after playing Berserk. He collapsed soon after, having an intense gaming session. However, he did have a pre-existing heart condition and also walked 4 miles through a snowstorm right before his gaming session.
Man, this game must be great.
People were so hyped about this game, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah. 4 miles in a snowstorm to get to the arcade
With
with a heart condition.
I think he went to his friends, was trying to get them convinced to go to the arcade to play with him, and they're like, there's a snowstorm, man. What are you doing?
You know what? Now that I think about it, 18. I feel like I would have done something that stupid at 18.
Yeah, probably.
Come on, let's run sets on Street Fighter 3.
But yeah, there are quite a lot of creepypastas out there. Everyone knows the story of Herobrine. There's Bigfoot in Red Dead Redemption and in GTA. UFOs just flying past. Also in GTA. What's another one?
The aliens
Santa
in
Claus.
Silent Hill.
Yeah. Santa Claus in Mortal Kombat.
The Alien channel that will appear in Animal Crossing New Horizons on the TV if you're playing late at night. First time that happened to me, that scared the bejesus out of me. I was just like, huh? And it's just a cartoony alien.
Oh,
I don't know why I got scared.
It's unexpected in the cozy realm of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I was just rearranging furniture, and then all of a sudden,
I love a haunted game cartridge creepypasta.
oh, always good.
I love a Ben Drowned. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's lots of them.
Yeah.
Sonic.
Sonic EXE. That one's actually real. That one's real. I want listeners to know that. Please don't look for it. I care about all of you so much. This is a joke. It's not real.
Yeah, but Shadow EXE.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Oh, that one was actually pretty sick. That was rad.
Yeah.
Fortitude Valley's Netherworld presents Lost Souls Karaoke. Sing for your soul in one of 5 private air-conditioned karaoke realms newly unearthed within the bar, arcade and diner. Book a room and put your soul on the line from Tuesday to Sunday via LostSoulsKaraoke.com. Netherworld and Lost Souls Karaoke are proud sponsors of 4ZZZ.
It's been a spooky episode. We've talked about spooky video game stories. We've talked about Silent Hill 2 remake. We've talked about spooky games that are coming out and Concord never coming out again. We've had it all, and it's coming up to the end of the night. So we've got to say toodles. Yeah. But I do want to just give a quick reminder that Netherworld have that super cool event happening on the 4th of November.
Yeah, that's Extra Lives. That's the interactive RPG concert.
Fabulous. And if you are a dev and you're interested in submitting your game for the Indie Dev Night on the 21st of November, make sure you check out our ZedGames socials. But without further ado, it's time for us to say toodaloo.
Bye.
More like Boogaloo.
Ooh.
Thanks for listening to ZedGames.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZedGames AU.
See you next time.